right, good Friday morning. I'm getting on a little early. It's 8:28, Friday, May 1st. Wow, we've got I don't even know where to start here. Had a good day trading yesterday. Did not trade anything last night. I am in an oil short. I jumped on a small position. Yesterday I got punched out on oil because it ripped up. But I mean I was tiny position yesterday, so I'm in. What am I in at? 10. I'm almost exactly where I was yesterday. I'm at 103.45 instead of 25. Based on the news, Trump just said, or I guess I'll go over the news real quick here. Let's go for a two. So we'll go for 101.45. So we'll put a target of $2 here. There we go. There we go. Yeah. That may not stick. We'll see. But let's go back to, look at this wick. So on the news, we had already hit all-time highs in Asia, 72.66. And we're totaling down about 20 points or 10 points below that. We get the news and it rips. I can't imagine this is going to stick. Yesterday we had amazing earnings. I had a trade previous night Asia for 30 points, and then I got 20 points yesterday, and then I didn't trade anything else. So, actually, I had a loser on one micro on the Dow. Let's look at the Dow. This thing yesterday ripped. It went up, I think, 800 points. And I gave up 50, 75 points, which is, I don't know, is nothing. I mean, a nothing burger. But that thing, NASDAQ ripped up on the news. Everything, all the indices are going to react. So now what we need to see is, do they come back to earth? Excuse me. Man, I got a smoker's cup, but I don't smoke. Don't drink, don't smoke. I'm bullish with sell-off profit taking because nobody took profit. I thought really we might sell off. I thought we might sell off during London session or Asia session, London session. So London, I thought would drive us down, but they didn't do anything. You can see last night, I mean, they kind of grind us down to, what's the, yeah, I mean, this didn't come down hardly at all. So 72.46 was the low. Let's mark some levels so before I get into anything. So yeah, so this was the, this is the it's the London low, 72.46. So I mean, there's no sell-off because that was an all-time high. I kept the 72.66. I keep the history of the all-time highs, but we just keep wiping them out, so it's irrelevant. Hey, Cube. Good morning. That's an oil short looking good right now. Pre-market, this would it'd be a real aggressive move if I got in here. I'm gonna hold off right now. I got the level set today. So we hit an all-time high this morning. I left the 72.66 because we hit that 11 p.m. last night with Asia. And so I leave that on there. We still, I don't know if we have any other strong levels here that I'm looking at. So 72.46. And then this rip, holy cow, this is just. So we got that New York low from last week, Asia low, 71.30, but now we're 200 and what 40 points off that, or 200 and or 100, yeah, 171.30. Yeah, we're 130 points off that. That's a humongous move. I don't know if this is going to stick. If you're just joining me, brother, here's what happened. So the reason it shot up at 8:15 or whatever time that was, and again, the market, it just wants anything positive. Iran delivered on Thursday the U.S. and Pakistan mediators its response to the latest U.S. amendments on agreement to end the war. No other details. They just responded, and then you see this: S&P ripped, the dollar dipped, crude dropped, and when I heard that, I missed this run up on that, so I threw a quick short. Because when the indices are going up, oil's going down, and I don't think that oil trade's going to stick. I probably should put the stop to break even because of any. I don't know. I mean, It's not like I'm risking a big position here, but that was a quick entry. Yeah, the reaction on news is insane. That's why I said this financial juice is the best. Soon as he announced that, I saw that I missed a rip and oil was dumping fast. I just clicked market sell on oil and got in a little position. But oil's going to come, it looks like it wants to come back because if this goes down, oil's going to go back up. So I don't know as I should. I don't think oil's going to rip all the way back up as long as there's still good news. Let's look at this. But yeah, this is a news driven crazy town that we're in right now. So I missed this started dropping. I just clicked market buy in here and got in, but they just responded. We don't know if it was I can't see them getting off the nuclear, and I can't see USA getting off the nuclear. So I don't know how much progress will be made today. And I know they'll probably make some kind of announcement after the market closes, so they didn't impact it. We rejected it, or we do this, or we do that. I don't know. Um, So I always have a thesis, but I trade what I see. My thesis is bullish, but I think there's a sell-off. I think there's profit taking. I think this is a short here. I may jump into a quick short here. And news reaction is ridiculous. Yeah, oil ripped up, back up, because this is dropping. This a fake out. Not really a fake out. The news, any good news, it rips. So I'm gonna stay. So the oil trade's already come back all the way to me. Now I'm in negative, but I'm gonna set that so I don't get hurt on that thing. But let's go back there. So the ES is so one thing we were talking yesterday. You want to look at. I start with. I don't go any further really than the hourly on my strategy, but so I'll go hourly. I don't use the 30 too much. I go 15. Um, and if the nine's above the 20, that's not an A plus trade on the 15 and the hourly, and mainly the 15. So even when this crosses, you'd like to see the 15-minute also crossing, I think, did we talk about yesterday, look backs? That's going to be your key to beat your success, brother. So you want to look back at previous crosses on the 5 minute, and did they work? No, these are, you're in a sideways chopping market, but that's pre-market. So you really want to look at the crosses, and if they, each of them worked, your two major that worked, if they did, then you're likely your third one's going to work. Right now, we're in a news-driven, crazy town market, so you really got to be cautious and patient. So all the news, and I was consuming news last night. So Europe is saying they're holding rates, but potential interest rate hikes bad for the market. We should go down. Um, the Fed chair Kashkari, these guys come out and give their benign scenario. Straight at Hormuz opens would likely leave inflation so high rates would need to stay or hold for an extended period of time. So no rate cut. Price shock, prolonged closure straight, put inflation expected at risk, required strong policy response. That's negative. Strong policy response is code for rate increase. A large enough price shock could put inflation expectations at risk, potentially requiring a series of rate increases for the Fed to keep credibility in defending its 2% inflation target. This is all negative. And yet the market just ripping to all-time highs on anything. I again, I know I sound like a broken record to myself. It makes no sense. What I see in front of me makes no sense whatsoever. Fed's clear easing bias, which means potential rate cuts, no longer appropriate. So no, not only no rate decreases, potential rate increases, both from Europe and from America. Overnight financing rates gone up. That's negative from 3.66 from 3 to 3.63. So I'm trying to find some good news besides Iran saying they submitted something and the war may be us accepting something. But it's not like this is going to be accepted. All right, everything's good. Let's high five and brothers, we're good. That's just not going to happen. So I don't know. I don't know. I still, so my going back, I think we're going to sell off today. And I think oil just above break even right now. May need just to pop out of that thing. So if this runs up and oil comes back down, I get the break even here. We'll see. But I still think my thesis today is I think we're going to sell off today. I think there'll be profit taking. I think the earnings. I want to identify some other strong levels here. This 7164 is not real strong. But this kind of gap up between this London low base here. I mean, there's some pretty strong resistance here that could act as support. I don't know if we'll get down to that far, but I mean that's not that far from where we are. So 72.05. So I just mark levels for myself. This is going out on the hourly. I mean, could we see a 50, 60 point sell off today? That wouldn't be a lot. We'd still be above 7,200. I think will act as the as a magic marker, or we could rip up to 7,300 very easily. So again, I've got to trade what I see, but I mark levels off. So when I'm in the fight and I see it moving, I can say, okay, I like that level. This is is it strong? Is it real? Is it not real? So on and so forth. That's kind of how I battle these things. Oh, okay. I didn't see your question until now. So what defines? I like to go to the 5 minute. So let's just look. Let's go back here. So when you're doing a look back, what I define as successful, like this these little crossovers here, this is a lot of noise, but that's real pre-market here. So those two lookbacks are not good. That's why I didn't fire the cannonball at this short. Okay, on the 5 minute. I don't like these two. It's just kind of, if it's waving, this is not a sideways chop strategy. It's a trending strategy. You go back to this, did it work? Kinda, not really. You would have been at 72.54. So yeah, not really. The only 5 or 6. So when I see a market doing this, when it goes up and it just base camps and Asia and London don't bring it down, you really need to wait to see what New York's going to do. Because if I could have seen Asia or London bring this thing back down to yesterday's low, would have been nice, but they didn't. And this is what the trend's been happening. New York drives it up, and then Asia and London don't sell off. So lookbacks are, did the two previous work? If they did, let's look at the 1 minute. So if we're going to trade and try to really be snipers and take less than 10 points, we can go to the 1 minute. So did the 1 minute previous it work? Yes. You would have gotten in here probably on this green candle, 72.59. You probably wouldn't have caught all that, but I mean, it would have worked even at 72. Yeah, so almost 10 points. You get in this one if it crosses 72.64-ish. I mean, you could have gotten a few points, 5. Did this work? Kinda didn't kill you. These two did not work. So it's real. It's not, no setup, no strategy works in all markets all the time. This is where patience comes into play, and this is where I've learned. So I'm just not in a trade with my strategy pre-market. So I'm watching this news. All right, so we got new news here. S&P futures edge higher on Friday, signaling that a rally fueled by strong mega cap tech earnings, record high, blah blah. Yeah, which we knew. Mag 7 came. Iran presented a new proposal yesterday to the Pakistani mediator. Al Jazeera cites Iranian diplomatic source. So the dollar weekend, oil weekend, based on that good news. Al Jazeera Bureau citing sources, Iran sent a new proposal via Pakistan. Nuclear talks unlikely to succeed. Okay, so that's another negative. Nuclear talks unlikely to succeed. Focus may shift to ending war, but I can't imagine that the U.S. is going to end the blockade without nuclear being on the table, unless Because if Trump rolls over on that one, that is a position of weakness. And not that I obviously have a dog in the fight being a human being in the world, but I mean, he's got, man, I don't, there's just nothing that's great besides they submitted a proposal. And unless they go, okay, we're going to let you guys come in and get all the enriched uranium, which is what the U.S. is wanting to do, and neither one of them want to look in a position of weakness. And I hate getting involved but it these these decisions are affecting what I do for a living in the market. So again, I have a thesis, but I trade what I see. So, as Master Yoda would say, oh no, that's Kung Fu. Patience for what we're doing here until I still, going back to a thesis here, I still think there's going to be a sell off here. And I'm going to I'll put a quick summary of why I think. Um, Possible profit taken I have in there, but I think Iran deal not likely. And this is with nuclear. Nope, no rate cuts in future, for sure, based on what they're all saying. Um, Inflation is for sure going to hit. Inflation is going to be coming in hot due to oil. And the one thing I think is really profit taking and some, even though there's no fear in the market, so that's the way I look at things. Who wants to hold this stuff over the weekend? Now the long-term investors and the 401ks and all those guys, they're not going to go in and out. But the guys, it's the first day of May. This is my thesis. Why in the world? Who wants to hold this stuff? You had a ripping week, and I think there's going to be some profit taking. And I think filling this gap here, this is a huge run up here. So I think filling this gap, at least let's do this. Let's say a 50% gap fill on this. So this would be, and this is what I do pre-market. I like to set what I think could happen, and if it does, then I'm ready to go. So we're looking at from London low, we're looking at about 40 something points. So I would say half this gap would be around 72.25, somewhere in that range, 72.24. So let's move this. And again, these are just ranges. So if we can come down 30 points, it's not a huge drop, but I think that, and if we were to fill the whole gap, we're looking at so if we come down to 72.07, we fill the whole gap. That could happen as well, and we're still above 7,200. Now, here's one thing I love about putting myself out there. I put myself out there on YouTube. And then what can happen is it can rip to 7,300 today, which can absolutely happen. So I give a thesis, but again, I trade what I see in front of me. This is what I think can happen, but it's not, I don't have a bias. I don't let it, I don't let it manipulate me of going, okay, that's it. I'm only going to go short. I'm only going to go short. That's my thesis. So remember, I told you earlier I wasn't really buying this. If we cross back here on this 1 minute at 72.64, and we'd be about, we'd still be up a couple points, but I'm not in love with that short. I think when the open comes and the algos come in, I think it could rip up back above the high. That could happen, but I still think there's going to be a sell-off. That's my that's my thesis. Okay, we're just about break even on oil. Looks like we're in, which means indices up, oil down, and it's the market open. Hey, brother. Hey, I know we wanted to have water. But if it's rainy outside, you don't want to be moving stuff. And again, it's not urgent. So if you wanted to just demo the stairs in that room, and make that closet usable, and if we can just get like 5 gallons of water from my house or wherever, and just if you want to paint their room, you could. If you want to work inside today, it's not. Yeah, yeah. So I'm. Yeah, yeah. I don't want you out in the weather's terrible. I don't want you out in the rain, and it's ugly. So communicate with Claudia if she's not. She's. I know. Us boys, us men, we don't care about what color, but she does. But it's real dark in there, so you're gonna have to get some kind of base coat right on it, or uh, we'll get a primer in there to cover it before you put a lighter color. So, all right, brother. I was just calling to let you know. Thanks, man. Bye. All right. Well, I didn't mute myself. Sorry. I got my guys are we're moving to a new house. I just got some of my guys doing some painting and stuff. All right. So mark it up. Oil down. I'm gonna keep an. It's one thing if you're trading, brother. I mean, I keep an eye on this my financial juice. Number of oil tankers redirected back to Iran with crude cargo continues to rise, which means the U.S. is not letting anything through. The blockade is still. Previous plans avoided nuclear issue and drew little U.S. attention, which means unless Iran puts the nuclear on the table, I don't think nothing's going to happen. So Iran handed a new proposal to Pakistan mediators to end the U.S.-Iran war. Contents unclear. Euro area GDP suggests near-term headwinds to growth, negative. Upside risk to inflation have intensified, negative. So almost every single thing is negative, which makes perfect sense that the market is hitting all-time highs. This is 2 and 2 equals 1,000. This makes no sense. And John Q. Public, uh, the stock market's all-time highs. This is the disconnection from real people um, to super wealthy people, which is not me. But this is why people have a problem with elites and things. Americans are getting murdered. In Indiana, where I live, it's $5 a gallon for gas. California's over 6. And my contractor friends that they have machines in their trucks, their gas, diesel is just murdering them. They can't charge that much more for their services. So, groceries going up. Inflation is going to happen. You keep oil at $100 a barrel. Fertilizers. We're big farmers here in the Midwest, and fertilizer, not only access to it, but the price is up 70%. That is going to trickle through to everything, food prices. And so even though the stock market's at all-time highs and politicians pound their chest and say how great I am, look at U.S. is so strong, look at all these companies' earnings, the regular people are just getting murdered. And Trump is aware of that. He knows he's got to get this down, or the midterms. Again, I don't care what side you're on. Politicians make decisions that benefit themselves. He's he knows if he doesn't get this done by in the next couple of months, that come was it November, whatever the midterms are coming, that the Republicans are going to get murdered, and we don't want that, man. Um, he's got a lot of good policies for going forward, and I don't care what side you're on. Positive policies for the country are good. If we were not in this war, but we have once in a lifetime chance to save those people in Iran. And I have Iranian friends that have people in Tehran. They all hate the IRGC. Everyone that lives there, they're being executed and prosecuted. And he doesn't. The politicians don't talk about that part. I wish they did, because not only do we not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, those people are suffering. The regular citizens, 90+% of them hate the IRGC and the leadership, but they never talk about saving the Iranian people because of the blackout. That's the biggest part of this to me. That being a lover of God and pray for peace, but my goodness, they don't talk about that. This talks about winning and this and but to me, that's the biggest piece of this is saving the people. Yeah, they do play the chess without thinking about people. They think about themselves. Um, I think there's a lot of politicians. Um, I think Trump has a good intention to be a good American. He's everything he said from the '80s to now has been consistent. But I mean, how they do things, they really think about getting reelected. Just whatever side you're on, doesn't matter. Republican, Democrat, Independent. They make decisions that's going to benefit them, and it is what it is. You know. So for me, we get happens here. We get whether I enter aggressive in a 1 minute cross or a 5 minute cross. First target would be this London low, 72.46. And then I'd like to see a 50% retrace to fill this gap from yesterday. Which would probably get us to around 72.25. That'll be some targets. Is that music? Can you hear the music in the background? Does that sound okay? Man, look at the run up on that on the Dow yesterday. That's 1,400 points, 1,300 points on the Dow. That's unbelievable. This has to have a sell off. And I know the all time high, it hit 50,000. All right, good. Good to hear you. I like it. Like I said, I'm not a big professional YouTuber. I'm just wanting to share with you guys. My goodness, that's a big rip. And that's on the hourly right there. Holy monkey sticks, that's a big number. See, if you're a sniper, which I'll do if this is going to move sideways all day like this. I mean, I'll get in here and take thing as it crosses on the 1 minute. You'll get this. Oh, I tried to go in, oh, and then back up. So um, it gives you the okey doke, the fake outs, which you don't want. Um, so I know a lot of scalpers go, oh, really? It's only trend. Then I miss. Yeah, there's you can trade a trend based on a 1 minute chart and still now you're going to end up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades in a day, which you don't want to overtrade. But if you're just snipering, protecting yourself with small, with small stop losses and just your gains, taking 10 points with a 5 point stop loss and getting it in, getting out. I've done that, especially when my account was real small at the beginning. So I've got this target on oil set for 101 and some change. So we got 8 minutes to the open. I'm going to go get a coffee refill before the market opens here. All right. Yeah. Take care, man. Have a good one. You good? Yes, I think this thing wants to run back to that all-time high, and then I think we're going to sell out. Oil is not. I'm in a short on oil. Let's look at that real quick. Oh, that's going well. So I'll take a couple dollars. So markets get headed right back up to. Yeah, it's going right back to that high. I think I still think that's going to reject, and we're going to sell off. But I'm in no trade on the ES on that. But I'm short on oil. So oil, both of them going up is unusual, but given that we're so news driven, I'm going to turn that. That thing is irritating. I'm going to turn that off. So oil's dropping now. So yeah, we right there we just whacked all-time highs. Look at that. It is unbelievable. Look at that thing rip. So oil is dumping. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. But we're not in a trade here. This is I'm good to be out of this. This is crazy town. I've got that oil short. If this keeps going up, oil should go down. And oil's dropping down to 101. I got a target set for what 101.36 ish, somewhere in that range. So we're 60 points off that. Hey, good morning, Relic. I'm not in ES trade, but I'm in oil short. But I think that oil wants to. I think let's go back to the ES. We'll leave it here because we're on profit. So my thesis for today, I'm bullish, but I think there could be a sell-off. But man, we had all-time high 72.71. And now we've blown that out of the water. So 72.75 and climbing. Not on any. The only news we got that's positive was that Iran submitted yesterday to Pakistan. That's the only good news. This is 2 plus 2 equals 10,000. Nothing makes sense. But we got to trade what we see. This would have been a nice long, but I wasn't believing it. That was just based on thesis. But Yeah, I think as this comes back down, I think oil will go back up. I mean, I could clip oil out and just have a quick profit here, but let's see. You in any trade? Yeah, it just keeps on pumping. Yeah, this is going to come back. We had the great Mag 7 earnings. Those were fantastic. Okay, that makes sense for pumping the market yesterday. But I've been scanning news last night and all morning. There is nothing else that is super positive that should be driving this. It makes no sense. But the market can, what's the old say? It can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. So I'm gonna let it calm down. I'm still in the oil short, which is I took my oil profits, made I think this thing's gonna dump and roll over and come back. So we'll take a little bit of oil profits off the table. And then we're gonna wait for this. So I got out let me look at my broker here real quick. Yeah, so we're in at 103.30, it was 35. We got out at 103.24, so we made a dollar 20, 15, something like that. So that's a win. Take a W. I just I don't have any faith that if you're just joining me, yeah, I'm not chasing anything else. I got into if you didn't know what where the market ripped and what it's all betting on. Iran delivered a on Thursday, which is yesterday, and we just find out they don't announce it till today, pre-market, which is all strategy, which is garbage. That they sent a proposal, but I've been scanning news last night and even to today, and man, I'm going to tell you, we'll go through this since I'm not in a trade and you're not in a trade, but um, none of this, besides that, based on they sent a proposal, interest rates are not going down. Pauses. Nuclear is probably not going to be in this. Um, Kashkari, which these are the Fed guys, saying that prior to war, inflation was likely to decline, but would warn of another rate cut, but it hasn't changed enough in March to modify. But then he goes down to say is
A price shock, prolonged closure of a strait could put inflation risk, possible, all negative. There's nothing, the only thing positive that I've seen is that Iran submitted a plan. We don't know the contents of that plan, nothing. So I don't know. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I guess I'm okay to get out of the oil. Let's see what. So we ripped up to another all-time high, 72.77, and it does not want to come down.
And we're 11 minutes into the open, so we'll see. But again, 2 plus 2 equals mud. None of this makes sense. No, it's what are we at? 77, 72, 70. This makes no sense. I mean, the disconnection. So the S&P ripped. I think the Dow, which ripped yesterday, is going down. So I think that's going to probably lead the way. What's NQ? NQ and ES and the S&P are ripping. So probably the Russells dive. So the YM did not come down at all yesterday. That thing ripped up to 50,000, and that was all-time highs. I think this was a good short. I should have been in on that thing. But that went up, I think, 12 or 1,300 points yesterday. The Dow. It's unimaginable. So ramping camp right now. So let's see. Have patience. This is going to. There's zero chance he's just going to come on and say, "Wow, they submitted this and the war's over."
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to take. No, I had to. I was making a phone call there. My music's back on, brother. I didn't think you wanted to be hearing what talking about roofing and stuff. We're moving, so I've got. Music level, okay? Man, I'm telling you, trying not to be biased, but I might go short on a 1 minute cross on a real simple trade because I just am not a believe this. If this candle closes, I'm going to go short, a quick short. I'm going on the 1 minute because the 5 minute is way far away and we're extended. The RSI is really high. So I think, I mean, if I can get in here on the 1 minute cross, but give up what we're, I thought for sure this thing would be selling off. So I would go short. I'm going to go short here, 72, 72 range, somewhere in that range. And I just put the stop above here. So my risk is real. I'm going here. So let me get 72. Oh, I missed that. 72, 71.50 we're in. This is aggressive. So I'm just putting my stop above. Oh, I put my stop. My stop is sitting at 10 points already. So that's my default on my. Look at that. Almost wanted to take me out. Look at that thing. It may just rip my eyeballs out. Yeah, this was really aggressive because I think that me and about 8 other billion traders are going. This can't be real, right? So this may be the. We're still in, but that was very aggressive on the 1 minute cross. My OCO on my broker. My broker sets me at I go 10 points as my default. So as soon as I go in, um, but nothing like being in and 8 seconds later you're in negative profit. But small position, and of course we hit another all-time high, which is not good for my short, but we'll see. Calculated. There's no calculated risk here. I'm going in at 1 minute. I don't recommend that for any of new traders to be going in on the 1 minute. So now we're at 72.78. So I'm short. Let me put down here. Yeah, 72, 71.50. This is called 71.50. My entry, 1 minute cross. Aggressive, do not risky trade. Yeah, that thing spike. I see your book. That thing, look at that spike. mean, as soon as I set that order, bam, I was in down here. I set that and then just tried to rip my eyes out, which, I probably got quite a few people, but um, I try not to let my bias me. I want to see what's in front of me, but given the news, given it's just another confluence that I thought maybe we could take a quick 10. We got 20. My my broker sets my OCO goes 10 for a stop and 20 for a target. Obviously, once I'm in a trade, I can manage it, differently as it goes. But this thing wants to come up and just it keeps making another all-time high. This is going to take me out. I have no idea what's going on. It's a small trade, but my goodness, what in the planet is happening here with these guys? Talk about disconnection from reality, man. This is I was talking to a guy earlier is, so the market and the talking heads are talking about, oh, all-time high earnings for those Mag 7s were insane as an loss. Yeah. We got 10-point loss. Yeah, this is insane. And what is driving this? There's no rationale unless there was a deal made or something. So I'm going to leave the all-time high at 72.71. We had a positive oil trade, so that covers the loss on this. So pretty much break even for today. But 70, we're headed to 7,300. This is unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, the market's insane. That's an underestimate, huh? Okay, so we got a win on oil and a loss on this. So actually, my loss on the ES was a little more. So we're negative on the day, but man, I am so if I traded my strategy here on the 5-minute on this retrace, on the 5-minute, but it, shoulda, woulda, coulda, you're already near all-time highs. I'm not. So human behavior's got to come into play somewhere. I'm a human being, so let's get rid of that. So we've had a real positive week. This is our first. Every morning I've been positive on my first trade. So this is my first negative this week, but we had a real positive week, so we're not giving anything. We're not going to give back all of our profits from the week. That's for sure. This makes no sense. Let's look at financial juice and see. What drove the news is all they said he's briefs the regional counterparts on Iran's stance to end war. Doesn't say anything great or anything good or anything, just that he's talking. Let's see, S&P manufacturing. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my cat is driving me crazy in the background, which I don't hear. All right, the source says one of the amendments included a demand that Iran commit not to try to move any enriched uranium out of its bombed nuclear facilities or restart any activity at those sites as long as negotiations continue. The White House envoy sent a list of amendments to focus on inserting nuclear issue back into the draft text per source. So yeah, there's no way the Iranians are going to just agree on the nuclear, and the U.S. number one problem is nuclear. So none of that should be positive. Hmm. Yeah, so nothing that's amazingly new. But of course, we're just going to rip to 1 million. The market's just going to go. Yeah, this is insane in the membrane.
Voice news disconnected.
Yeah, this guy's not talking to me. What's going on? Let's reconnect you. Let me
Spot 4, low in the forecast of 48.8. At new orders 54.1, 54.1, low in the forecast 54.5. Comments from Fed's Logan says the Fed should not give guidance implying easing right now. The Fed's next rate move could be a cut or a hike. Economic outlook is very uncertain right now. Job market has been stable, and I'm increasingly concerned about getting inflation back to 2%. The outlook for inflation path is uncertain, and Logan says that they dissented against Fed's easing bias at FOMC meeting.
Yeah, it's going to 7,300, man. Look at this thing. This is trade what you see, not what you think. Yeah, it's going to. I mean, is 7,300 going to be a psychological level? I don't know. This is I don't use that term often, unbelievable. This is unbelievable. There is no good news. This look at this kind of crap. The Fed's rate next rate move could be a cut or a hike. I can tell you that my prediction on the market, it can go up or down. What kind of crap is that?
Yields gain and traders trim wages on Bank of England rate hikes in 2026.
But then he says after that, the Fed should not give guidance implying easing. Well, no kidding. You got inflation that's going to ravage people with oil over $100 a barrel. I mean, oil's probably under 100 now. Let's look at it real quick. I was in an oil short. I should have stayed in that thing. Looks like. Yeah, I should have. But I mean, I got it would have been another dollar or so. But yeah, look at the oil dumping because that's the correlation. Look at this run. This is unbelievable. believable based on what's happening. Talk about a disconnection.
Also seeing Apple extending rally to more than 5% now, biggest gain since August. Treasury yields edge lower after weak highs and factory employment.
I'll be back, brother. Man, 72.
72.98. I think that's 7,300. Maybe that's a psychological level. I want to say it can't keep going up, but that's not the case. Yeah, it does not want to come down at all. What do we went to 72.98? Yeah. So this is insane. So yeah, we're not in I'm not in anything right now. We're not going to give back our weekly gains. So these Fed guys, they come out, Powell makes his announcements, and then each of the Fed guy comes out and makes his own Kashkari, and these guys, they come out and make their own thing. That can move the market. These guys, they try. So this.
So just in case you missed it, there's an article from Press TV with the Iran's new blueprint for the management of Hormuz, and we'll post it out for you on the feed to read through.
Okay, so we're gonna print something out for us to feed.
But just some of the key points then, again, from Press TV a while ago. It said that monetary sovereignty, financial proceeds from Strait must be collected in Iranian rials, direct challenge to dollar dominance in regional energy transactions. Countries that have imposed sanctions, blocked Iran assets, or taken hostile actions would be required to pay substantial compensation for crossing the waterway. Also, in regards to military authority, the General Staff of Iran's armed forces has been designated as the responsible authority for all actions in the strategic choke point, consolidating military and civilian command. That's it. We'll fit out for you in the feed so you can read it through yourselves.
Okay, he said a lot of stuff about the deal. He's going to post it up there. But going back to these Fed guys. So Logan, he dissented about easing. So he doesn't want anything in there saying that there's going to be easing. So he's negative on a rate hike. But then he says next move could be a rate hike cut or a hike. And then he says he dissented against easing, so he's not for a cut. But then the previous thing he says could be rate cut or hike. Uncertain economic outlook, growing worried about restoring inflation to 2%. That's not happening anytime soon, especially with this oil, this increased oil price that's going to run through. The manufacturing stuff was good. That's positive news. So I mean that could drive things up. And this thing is just going to continue. It wants to
going long when we're continuing to make all-time highs has just not been a good for me to do. Even though I trade what I see, I can, you can do small, but these rips.
The ongoing negotiations between the US and Iran, in the idea if they recognize that military targets in Iran have been achieved, but as long as the nuclear program doesn't leave Iran and enrichment doesn't stop, everything that's been done is one big failure. Senior military officials speaking to N12 News says that even after missiles, headquarters, and commanders were attacked, the Iranian regime will be able to pounce on the nuclear program after the war ends. Again, that's according to N12 News, citing senior military officials.
So what they're saying is that without the nuclear off the table, which is, I can't imagine, given all of this and billions and thousands of people killed, that we're going to let something happen without them rolling over on the nuclear part of it. That would be a loss for Trump and the U.S. That'd be a loss for the world.
Press TV article on feed, which read through again. It's just from, in case you missed it, gives you more detail in regards to Iran's blueprints for management's critical missiles.
Let's turn the music off so I can hear what he's saying because he's not posting it. But it doesn't sound positive, but it's not slowing the market down. We talk about being gun shy after that last pop in the eye. 1 minute cross, probably not in play, but the RSI riding this high, extremely overbought. And again, I don't use the RSI like for my, it's just a confluence, so. So now that we're 50 points away from the London low, my original thesis was we get back to this low. That's not real likely. There could be an afternoon sell-off, but I don't think it's really likely. What are we, 45 minutes into the open? I mean, it's early in the game, a lot of stuff can happen, but this looks like it has no intention of stopping. It needs to go to 7,300. It's not quitting. There's no quitting this sucker.
US Treasury yields then dropped. 10-year yields last at 4.35%.
It doesn't look like it wants to go down anytime soon. Oh, but I keep looking for. IDF assesses military targets in Iran achieved, but without ending Iran's nuclear program, an enrichment effort would be one big failure. That's Israel. And I know that Trump believes the same thing. Iran's new blueprint for management of Strait of Hormuz and post-American regional. The problem with Iran is they don't keep any promise they've ever made, and we don't really know who the leaders are. This is no longer about monitoring and defending Iranian interests, but exercising sovereign authority in ways that fundamentally reshape the waterway's governance. That's a lot of hooey. Orion has drawn its red lines with clarity and precision. One of them is that the decisive and irreversible resolve to exercise full control of the Strait of Hormuz. If that's what they want, then we're gonna have a problem. This constitutes a fundamental, non-negotiable demand that fundamentally reshapes the strategic landscape, leaving the U.S. at a crossroads where all available paths lead to crisis. Yeah. So if Iran is insisting on putting rules in where they're going to continue to control the Strait of Hormuz, that's also a deal killer to me. But the market doesn't care. It could be. It does not care.
Russia's May 9th ceasefire offer is another Moscow attempt to charm the US. According to the Ukraine Foreign Minister, the Ukraine's Foreign Minister says Russia's May 9th ceasefire is another Moscow attempt to charm the US.
My other thing that I always think about is given all this uncertainty, I know the big funds, they don't care. Buy, everything's good. Who wants to hold this thing over the weekend when this could all fall apart? Like it's happened every time. Things get propped up on Friday, and then some kind of bad news happens on the weekend, and Sunday, market open for Asia, you have a gap down because it's bad news. So that's kind of this thing. Just there you go. It got to. It's getting to 7,300. There you go. Look at this RSI. This thing. There is just everybody and their brother is buying. Yeah, 7,300. And still going.
Exxon and Qatar are still setting timeline for Ras Laffan repairs.
Senior military officials assess that even after the missiles, headquarters, and
The Ras
commanders.
Laffan industrial city, it's the world's largest LNG export hub, supplying roughly 20% of the global energy market.
The Iranian regime will be able to pounce on the nuclear program after the war ends. I said, I'm trying to figure out what is so positive. I know earnings were fantastic.
We're just about an hour. It seems like longer because this has just been, I'm watching in disbelief. So quick review, I had one 10-point loss. I tried to go short on the one-minute cross, but I had a winner on short oil. So those almost washed each other out. So I'm down, I think, only 2 points, average, like nothing, a couple bucks. But on the week, I've had a really good week. So I would rather just sit on my hands the rest of the day here. I think there's got to be a short here somewhere, at least a pullback, a significant pullback. Since the open here, we've gone 40 points after yesterday's run.
So 52 points today. This is crazy town. The nice thing about when we're at all-time highs and when I short, you can be super aggressive. Like if this 1 minute crosses, you can get here at 72.95 and have a 5 or 7 point. If it breaks all-time highs, and you're out. That's how I used to trade when my account was real small. Which is not a bad strategy. I mean, really, you can go, 3, 4, 5 point losses, and then when you make 10s and 15s and 20s and manage it, that's how. It's a lot of labor, but I mean, if you want to grow your account with low risk and protecting capital, you can do this over and over and over. And then what I would do is once it would get up 5 points, I would move my stop to break even. If it came back and took me out, I covered my fees. So I'd have 1 or 2, 3 break evens in a row, and then finally one would rip, whether I'm going long or short. That's a real easy way to trade this strategy on a smaller time frame because your risk is a lot less here. But I say a big but. This thing, we're almost an hour in, doesn't look like it wants to go down. So. But there's got to be some, and I say got to be, I guess there doesn't, but there certainly would be some pullbacks along the way here. I don't think we're going to get back to the open or anything. I don't think we're coming back down to 72.60. Now, I could be wrong. And it wouldn't be the first time. I'm wrong. I'm wrong every day. But I do. I'm gonna have to run. I'm not gonna get any more trades right now. I'm moving into a new house here. I've got to go over there and oversee the contractors, what they're doing. Good sign is that MC Hammer candle here. You had You got that doji candle here on this 5 minutes. Then you had a hammer candle here. That's looking good for a potential short. So I like that on the 5 minute. But I'm not going to be here to manage this. And somebody could fart and the market could go up another 100 points. So I don't know. I don't know. All right, brother. Hey, Raleigh, have a good one, man. Good luck. I may trade later this afternoon. I'm gonna watch it, but there's got to be a short here. This cross is 1 minute based on. I like this 5 minute candle here. I'm getting a confirmation that may be a nice. I think this may be a nice short here. I'm gonna fire one at it before I go. I'm setting this for 72.95. We're in at 72.95.50. And I am setting, put this at 20. We're in at 72.95.50. My stop default's at 10. So I'm in a trade, brother. So as soon as I said I was going, here I am. Okay, we got on the 1 minute cross. I will manage this sucker really close. I'm not going to give back the planet on this thing. So pretty much break even prior to this short right now. All right, brother. See you next week. Looks like it's if this thing gets up, I'm gonna just move it to break even. I think it was a quick like I said, I like that 5 minute hammer, doji indecision, 5 minute hammer, and then I like that. So that was my, and then once we got the cross, I got in. All right, brother. I'm out of here, man. Take care. I'll talk to you. I'm gonna set my stops on this, and either it hits me or I win or I lose. So we'll see. Take care.